A science-backed step forward in my health journey, my experience at Sportstest. Yesterday, I took a huge step forward in my personal health and well-being journey, and today, just one day later, I feel like a metaphorical weight has been lifted off my shoulders. The physical one will come, I'm sure, now that I understand so much more about how my body works and what it needs from me. I visited Sportstest, a cutting-edge performance, health and well-being centre, for what I initially thought would be a simple VO2 max test. What I came away with was something so much more valuable, a clear, science-backed picture of me. Not a generic guide, not a should, not a one-size-fits-all, but real, individualised insights into my body, my health, and how to support both properly. And here's the real kicker. I was told to move more slowly and eat more. Who would have thought? If you've followed my work for any length of time, you'll know that I've had a strong interest in longevity, health span, and well-being for many years. I've read widely and tried to implement much of what I've learned, experimenting and adjusting along the way. I've worn a continuous glucose monitor, tested for sleep apnea, checked my omega-3 levels, and monitored my blood pressure. I practice time-restricted eating, prioritise good sleep hygiene, and aim for a whole food, plant-based diet. My days are physically full, treating horses and humans, and keeping up with my 12-year-old son. And yet, like many people doing all the right things, I've still been classified as obese for many years. That label comes with its own emotional weight, which can be hard to shift. For me, it was monitoring my blood pressure regularly that finally gave me the nudge to explore further. I know that VO2 max is considered one of the most accurate predictors of longevity. So I contacted Sportstest in Staffordshire, run by Dr. Gary Palmer, no relation in case you're wondering. I asked for a VO2 max test, thinking it would be a useful benchmark. Dr. Palmer, with years of experience in both elite sport and everyday health, suggested we also test my resting metabolic rate and body composition. Thank goodness he did. I was absolutely blown away by the depth and clarity of the information these tests provided. Let's start with some good news. My muscularity is in the 94th percentile. Years of physical work have clearly had a positive impact, and I'm grateful for that. It's reassuring to know that even when weight loss has felt elusive, my muscles have stayed strong and capable. But, of course, it's not the full story. Those strong muscles are currently hidden under too much fat. That's not news to me. But seeing the data laid out so clearly, the percentages, the breakdowns, the analysis, made the implications impossible to ignore. Even more importantly, it made them actionable. One relief was discovering that my visceral fat, the dangerous kind around your internal organs, is at low levels. That was a win. But excess fat in general, especially when persistent over decades, still takes a toll. It affects how your cardiovascular system functions, how efficiently your body uses energy, and how well you age. But here's where it got really interesting. It turns out that my body is exceptionally good at burning fat, but only at slower paces. I'd been forcing myself to work harder, move faster, and push through workouts I didn't enjoy, believing that was the only way to burn calories and improve my cardiovascular health. And I hated it, every minute of it. Now I know, I wasn't helping myself. In fact, I was probably making things worse. Thanks to the metabolic efficiency test, I could literally see the graph that showed where my body switched from burning fat to burning carbohydrates. For me, that point is at a very slow pace. If I stay below that threshold, think of a gentle walk or very easy cycling, I burn fat efficiently. Go any harder, and I shift into burning carbs, which isn't what my body needs more of right now. I need to work with my body, not against it. That revelation alone made the visit worthwhile. And then there was the discussion about nutrition. I've always tried to eat well. I'm mindful of my choices, social, environmentally, and ethically. I've tracked my intake in the past, but I've never been sure whether I'm actually giving my body what it needs. Dr. Palmer gently suggested that I might not be eating enough. That came as a surprise, but after going through the detailed questionnaire and speaking more about my routine, he confirmed it. I'm underfueling. In particular, I'm not getting enough protein. Now, I'm not about to start eating chicken 6 times a day, but with Gary's help, I've been given some clear targets in terms of macronutrients and calorie intake. I've downloaded a food tracking app, and for the first time in my life, I'm actually excited to use it. That's because I now know that the guidance I've been given is not generalized, it's bespoke. It's based on my physiology, my lifestyle, and my goals. I'm not training for a competition. I'm not trying to reach a particular weight in a certain time frame. I just want to be healthier and happier for longer. I want to support my body in the best way I can, because I ask a lot of it. And now, for the first time in a long time, I have SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed, and a clear plan to work towards them. It's such a relief, such a deep, grounding relief. And that's why I said at the start that I feel like a metaphorical weight has been lifted. Because when you've been trying hard for years and not seeing the results you expect, it's easy to feel disheartened. It's easy to blame yourself. But what I've learned is that I wasn't lazy or greedy or doing it all wrong. I simply didn't have the right data. Now I do. This whole experience has been empowering and eye-opening, and I honestly can't recommend Dr. Gary Palmer and Sports Test highly enough. Whether you're curious about your cardiovascular health, metabolic efficiency, or body composition, or if you've simply had enough of the guesswork, I encourage you to take that first step. There's no judgment, no pressure, and no fluff. Just real, science-based support from someone who cares about helping people feel better in their bodies. If this resonates with you, if you've been putting in the effort and not seeing results, please know that you're not alone. And there are answers out there. Sometimes it just takes the right test, the right person, and the right time. For me, that time was now.